So this is an alternative version of the final step of the process of being able to open a data file in SPSS. So in this case, I assume that you've saved your data file to a specific folder on your hard disk rather than the downloads folder. So how do we go through the process? So as always, we have to get to SPSS by going through the link to the Flinders virtual app. So when we click on this, we'll go through the usual process of logging on. Opening SPSS. Remember, open with Citrix Connection Manager. Wait for it to load. Now, you can open your file from the first dialog box that appears, but I recommend against doing this. The only advantage here is if you want to open a file you've opened previously, you may find it in the recent files. You can just click on it and open. But the best strategy is to use the opening data file mechanisms actually within the particular program. So here we've got the data view window open. You can either click on icons if you like clicking on icons. So this one here in the top left hand corner, this yellow folder will open the data document, or alternatively you can use the drop down menus. You choose open and you choose data. And when you do this, it will open up the following dialog box. Now this happens irrespective of whether you clicked on the icon or used the drop down menu. You'll get exactly the same thing. One of the really good features I've found is it seems to remember what you did last time and it goes to the folder that you found. Now, as it turns out in this case, it's actually opened it in the downloads folder, which is the specific folder on my computer. The first time you do it, it will actually probably put you in the downloads folder on the computer network, and that's the one you don't want. In this case, it's actually got me onto my own computer, but it's actually not the folder I want to be in. So how do I find the folder that I want to be in? Well, remember, I saved it to the local disk. So if you've saved it to the local disk, you just click on local disk. You then, in this case, you choose users. Remember, this was part of that long file name. And we click on open. We now go through all of the different subfolders. So if you'd actually written down the folder from when you'd saved it, it actually will possibly help you. So I went through this folder. It will come up with all the folders on my hard disk. Now, all I'm really interested in are these two here, documents and downloads. Here's the correct downloads one. So if I'd clicked on this, this actually would take me to where it was when I first opened this, but yours wouldn't have been here, and it's got sensation seeking. But in this case, I'm not interested in that folder. So I'm just going to go back up to the broader level and I'm going to click on documents because that's where my Site 2018 folder was. So if I click on documents, open it, double clicking usually works here, but I sometimes click too many times. And now I can find my Site 2018 folder and I can open that. And here I've got my goal set data set. So if I'd use video 2 and just save the one file using the save link as and saved it to this particular folder, I can simply choose that one and open it. And now what will happen is I'll get my data set up and now I can just go through the prac, or if it was for an assignment, I can start doing my assignment, running my analyses, and everything works here. My only other point to make is that you can actually open more than one file at one time. So I can have goal set open, and I could also have, for example, the third data set in this particular practical exercise was the Eyewitness ID one. So if I click on the folder icon just to show you a different process, again, it comes up with this folder. And now if I look in my folder, so for the people who've actually saved all the data sets across using the zip from the zip file, and they've got this folder with all their data in, they can just click on the file and it will have all the data sets. And so if I go to Practical 2C, I've got the Eyewitness ID, and I can actually open this data set. So now I've actually got two data sets open, goalset.sav and now Eyewitness ID. And I know this, if I go down to the bottom and look at the icon down here, I can see all the SPSS files open when I'm hovering over the SPSS icon. I can see there's an output window, which I'm ignoring for now. It's just got some stuff about opening files. I've got the goal set data set, and I've got the Practical 2C Eyewitness ID data set, which is the one that I can see on the screen. But if I click on goal set, I can see now that it'll switch across after a bit of time to the goal set data set. So you can see now I've got the goal set data set open. One thing I will point out is that while you can have several data sets open and it'll let you open as many as you like, every now and again something can go wrong and an analysis won't run. And part of the problem is that sometimes it tries to use the wrong data set. Well, you can avoid this particular problem by only ever having one open at a time. So what I recommend is when you open a second data set, go back to the first one and close it. It's really rare that you're going to want two different data sets at the same time. You're usually going to be running analysis on only one at any particular time. As such, I recommend that you would close down the goal set data set. And so you get left with only the data set that you're actually trying to run analyses on. So in this case, it's the Eyewitness ID data set. So that's really the final tip. If you get to this stage, then you're doing really well, and congratulations.